Hello, welcome back. I'm supposed to be decorating, but continental drift happens quicker than it takes me to finish a project like that. So I'm looking at a game called North Star, which is a 1988 release from Gremlin Graphics. Now, I was not familiar with this game. The only reason I've decided to look at it was in a recent pickup. I got hold of quite a few back issues of Crash magazine, including issue 50, March 1988, which North Star appeared in, and received a Crash smash. And I'd never heard of the game, so I thought, oh, I'll give it a try. And that's one of the things, I've said it before, that's one of the things I love about the Spectrum, is that there's always something new to discover, and it's great. This was brought to us by John O'Brien, Steve Kerry and Ben Daglish. Like I said, it was a Crash smash in that particular issue. It was reviewed in Your Sinclair in the April 1988 issue. They only gave it 6 out of 10. So I'm going to have a quick sort of go at it and say what's good about it, what's bad, and what I liked about it, what infuriated me, etc. And then sort of visit those scores and see which one was more accurate. Now, as you can see, North Star is, set on an alien base that's been overrun by aliens, and you've got to liberate the base from them. Now, it's you've got to run from sort of like left to right across the screen, dispatching the baddies. The real annoying thing about these bad guys is that one hit kills you, and sometimes you'll find it gets quite infuriating. You get quite far into a level, and then suddenly you sort of like lose a couple of lives. Now, you don't shoot as such. You fire out this sort of like grappling hook thing to dispatch your foes, and they occasionally release score bubbles, etc. You collect those bubbles and you end up with a score. Now, those little pods there that I've just destroyed there, you can see that gave me a power up to collect, but because of this sort of irritating one hit kill kind of thing, I've never actually stayed alive long enough to be able to use that thing. So I don't know what kind of effect it has. It's whether or not it's kind of like a smart bomb or something like that. Now, the other sort of nice thing is obviously the graphics are really, really nice in this game. And there's some nice touches, such as there's inertia in your movement, in that, when you want to stop and turn, you don't just change direction instantly. You've got to slow down, etc., before you can then sort of move back in the opposite direction. That can sometimes be a pain in the arse if you've got a baddie like right close in front of you or behind you. Yeah, it's really, really nice and colourful. Really sort of like well defined. Obviously, we all know the Spectrum's problems when it comes to colour. Your character can sometimes, as you're going to see here with the yellow, sort of like fade into the background quite a bit, but that's an annoyance rather than a sort of horrifying game-breaking complication, if you know what I mean. Sound-wise, now, bear in mind this is 1988 release. I'm having to play this through Spectaculator on 48k mode. For some reason, I can't get it to load in 128k mode, so I don't know if there's any kind of soundtrack or beefier sound effects, etc. So on the 48k version, everything's a little bit sort of weedy and tinny, and not much in the way of sound effects. Now, I played North Star for about an hour and a bit this morning, whilst I was supposed to be decorating. Been nagged at already, so once I get this video out of the way, I've got to get on with that. I hate wallpapering, I hate painting. I dropped my glasses in the paint tin the other day. But yeah, so North Star, right, let's see what Your Sinclair had to say about it. Now, as I said at the start, they gave it a 6 out of 10, and they came out with a line in their review that if it was a £3 game, then it would have scored 10 out of 10. But as it cost nearly £8 when it was released, it only gets a 6. And I can kind of go with that score more than a Crash smash, because the game is actually sort of quite repetitive. I only got as far as level 2 on it. I don't know, whether or not things improve drastically on later levels. But, it's not a bad game. Like I've said, graphically, it's really, really, really nice. Could have done with some kind of life meter instead of instant sort of kills from the alien contact. You do that white bar at the bottom there, you are sort of battling against depleting oxygen levels, so you can't just sort of like hang around. You've got a bit of a time limit on you, because obviously you don't want that to run out. Now another good thing is, you know, when you're in space, and obviously there's like a lower gravity which you can see when you jump. You can get some quite good jumps going. Now that can be a double-edged sword, in that you can accidentally jump straight into trouble as easily as you can jump straight out of it, if you know what I mean. Right, so North Star controls, you've got Q, well, you've got redefinable controls, which is a good thing for a Gremlin graphics game, because the majority of the ones that I've played don't have redefinable controls, and you were stuck with some kind of weird keyboard layout. I tried playing their Mickey Mouse game earlier, and it was more or less unplayable because of that, even though it looks really nice and was a crash message, etc. Now, as I said at the top of the video, I didn't know this game at all. When I was reading through these back issues of Crash magazine, was the first time, yesterday it was, that I actually discovered this game, if you like. So I'm interested to know who amongst you that may be unfortunate enough to watch this video knows this game. If you did know it, what were your impressions of it? Did you like it? Did you hate it? Were you neither fish nor flesh about it? You know, what were your impressions of North Star? I mean, I think, you know, graphically it's a really good game, but it is a bit monotonous. It's a bit slow paced. Games of a similar style, such as Exelon, I think are a bit more playable, because there's a bit more to them. Yeah, this just seems a little bit limited, but by no means a bad game. Anyway, this video is going to play out. I hope you've enjoyed it. If you have, please let me know. If you want to subscribe to the channel, please do so. It'd be ever so good to see you. Join in some Specky related discussions, etc. Okay, it's a lovely Sunday. I better get up ladders and stuff like that before I get moaned into non-existence. Have a great Sunday. Take care of yourselves. Goodbye.